I'm back from our incredible bucket list trip to Africa, and it was everything I hoped for, plus just so much more. But the question is, did I pack everything I needed? Or worse, did I take up space in my luggage with things I really didn't need? It's time to find out. Let's go. First, I want to give a big thank you to Unbound Merino, who is partnering with me on this video and provided me with what ended up being some of my very favorite items to wear over and over during the trip. Choosing merino wool for this trip was a no-brainer, since during the safari game days, we were going from temperatures in the 40s in the morning to the mid-80s by the afternoon. Since merino wool is temperature regulating and moisture wicking, it was perfect for those large fluctuations. The Unbound merino pieces are so thin and lightweight, they are perfect for layering. Whether you're on a safari game drive or just getting ready for those fickle fall days we're getting. As we get into unpacking the clothes, you will see how little space the Unbound merino pieces took up, letting me pack much lighter and smarter. And since we had limited access to laundry on this trip, it was so nice to be wearing a natural material that didn't hold on to those sweaty smells. This was the first trip where I have packed primarily merino wool clothing, and I don't think I'm going to be going back. It is such a game changer. Now, I'll be the first to admit that Unbound merino clothing is an investment, but when you factor in the longevity and quality of the items and how much you'll save by packing less, it's a wise investment for your wardrobe, whether for travel or for daily wear. I will have the link below if you'd like to check out these beautiful pieces for yourself. Again, thank you to Unbound Merino for helping me succeed at packing for this amazing trip and for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into what is inside this suitcase. I did end up using Quince's 24-inch expandable check-in bag for packing this time, and that was because I was traveling internationally and I knew I would have a checked bag for free, and also because I had some stuff that I was taking to give out to my group. If you don't know, this trip was my first group trip for my subscribers. I put it out to everybody who is on my email list. I put a video out on YouTube if anybody wanted to join me on this trip, and I did end up, there were 10 of us along on the tour, and I decided to put together a couple of things to give to the people who came along. So I made some tote bags and a few other things that we brought, and the tote bags were, well, they took up a lot of space, and they were a little heavy on the trip over to Africa. So I did choose to go with a checked bag this time, but I think that if I hadn't had those items, I would have been able to have put everything into a carry-on item. Coming home, maybe not so much, but I would have had the ability to bring an extra bag if I needed it, and I ended up only needing to take my checked bag, and then I had a personal item bag, and I didn't have anything extra besides that. So let's see what I packed. And by the way, the shirt I am wearing right now is one of the Unbound Merino pieces. This is one I did not take on the trip with me. It's a mock turtleneck. And I probably could have used this. There were definitely cooler mornings that this would have been very comfortable. But I love this color. It's kind of a, it's sort of a brown, but a little bit of a burgundy hint to it. Very pretty. They've got some gorgeous colors. Let's get away from merino wool for a second and let's talk about what's in the bag. So we'll start with what are in these pouches here. So in this pouch, I have my vitamins, and I've packed them in the disposable Ziploc bags in the past, but I purchased these cute little silicone baggies for this trip, and these were perfect. These are what I'm going to be using from now on. I, again, thought that I was doing really well on taking my vitamins, but I still have a few days. Well, I only ended up with 3 days that I didn't take, and I probably had a couple of extras in there. So you can see I was pretty successful at taking my vitamins this time, but these were great. And again, I will have everything that I talk about that I can find links to. I'll have linked below in the description. These can be useful for so many things besides just vitamins. I'm sure y'all can come up with some really creative ideas. In fact, if any of you guys use these on a regular basis for something other than vitamins or pills or whatever, let us know in the comments below what you use the little mini silicone bags for, because I bet you guys have some amazing tips that you can share about these guys. I did take some collagen with me. And honestly, I didn't end up using the collagen a whole lot while we were over there because the coffee cups were so small. The collagen doesn't really work if you don't have a full-size coffee cup. So I did take some, I've pulled some out, and I had it with me after I got home. So I've been using it since I got home, but those are what was remaining in there. In this little compression packing cube are the bug repellent wipes that I brought with me, and I brought an entire box. We never use these because it was dry season and winter where we were in, because we were in Botswana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. None of the places really had mosquitoes at the time. The place that we had the most bugs of all, and that was still pretty minimal buggy, was in Zimbabwe in the place that we stayed. It was called the Wallow, which was gorgeous. Oh my God, this place. When I have my vlogs up, you will see some of these places we stayed at in Africa were just incredible. We were right along a little river, and there were some bugs out there. Like, I do think I got bit by a mosquito the first night I was there. Other than that, I don't think we saw bugs hardly ever. In fact, probably really didn't need to take malaria medicine, but I did, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I brought a whole box of mosquito wipes, bug spray, or bug wipes with me that did not get used. Now, I am not going to sit here and say that you do not need to bring bug wipes to Africa, no matter what time of year you're going. Africa is a huge continent. It is much bigger than North America and Central America combined, with lots of different countries who have different climates and different bug situations. So don't take from me that you should not take mosquito wipes. We just did not need mosquito wipes in the 3 countries we went to in August, which is winter. Now, if you're traveling in those countries when it is more summer and into their fall, so basically from October through March, April, June, when it's rainy season there, you will probably need bug wipes. We just happened to be there when it was pretty dry and there just weren't a whole lot of mosquitoes. And in fact, one of the places that we went, Pilanesberg, which is a big game reserve in South Africa, is a malaria-free site because they don't really have a whole lot of mosquito problems there. The other thing in here are my collapsible coat hangers. I didn't really end up using these at all. All of the places that we stayed had coat hangers, and for the most part, I didn't actually hang up my clothing this time. It wasn't as dressy of a situation as Portugal was, where I had more dresses and shirts that needed to have the wrinkles kind of, you know, have the shirts hung up so the wrinkles would come out of them. Yeah, this was pretty casual, outdoorsy. It was a safari for the most part. And then the other thing in here is my little jewelry case, the little pouch that I always take my jewelry in. I did get a couple of pairs of new earrings. Aren't these cute? While I was there, and a few other things, some bracelets and stuff that I'm sure you will see when you watch my videos in the future. And here, I think are just plastic bags that I just kept. This is an empty plastic bag. Oh, this is my washcloth my little wonder cloth that I bring with me. And I did use this all the time, every night when I was washing my face, so I was glad I had that. So let's go into this compression side. Oh, and the other thing that's in here is my Apple AirTag. If you've not, I think in a previous video I talked about this, so I'll mention it real briefly. Our baggage did not arrive in Africa with us because we had a thunderstorm delay out of Atlanta. So we were flying from Atlanta to Amsterdam and then Amsterdam to Johannesburg. And our flight from Atlanta was delayed over 2 hours because we were sitting on the ground in the middle of a thunderstorm. We were already on the plane, but they couldn't take off until the thunderstorm passed and the ground crew could come out. So we made it to Amsterdam with I think our flight was 10 minutes out from leaving by the time we landed in Amsterdam. They held the flight for us and we made it on the plane barely. We ran through Amsterdam airport and got into our seats, but we were pretty sure our luggage did not, and it did not. So when we got to Johannesburg, our luggage was not there. And the next day we were flying to Zimbabwe, to Victoria Falls. So our luggage needed to make a couple of stops in order to get to us. So we did not get our luggage for, wasn't quite about 2.5 days before our bags showed up behind us. Luckily, I had packed a full set of extra clothes and pajamas in a compression packing cube in my personal item bag. So I was pretty okay. I mean, they'd given us toothbrushes on the airplane, so we had a toothbrush to use and some other things. So and of course the place we were staying at had plenty of toiletries for us to use. So it worked out fine. I mean, Alex was a little more, didn't have as much, variety, but it didn't really matter. Nobody really cares what you're wearing. And I was warm, and I had enough warm clothes to be warm in the morning, and it worked out fine. But I was glad I had the Apple AirTag in my luggage, because then I knew where it was along its journey that it made to Africa. This is a little pouch that the tour company, which is Colette, is who we did the tour through. That was arranged by my very, very favorite tour advisor, Heather, with She's the World. Colette did the tour management, and they were amazing. And all I kept in here is like all my receipts and paperwork throughout the whole trip. But if you are ever booking a trip internationally, definitely look at what Colette has to offer. The people they choose for their tour managers are amazing. I have just been super pleased with everybody that we've had, and our Kosi that we had as our tour manager in Africa was just phenomenal. So have high things to say for them. This is a souvenir that I got. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it as a plate, or I might hang it on the wall. It's super cute though. This is something that I purchased right before I left, and I thought that it might come in handy to carry on the safari game drives, that I would carry my bottle of water in here and then be able to like have my camera stuff in this front pocket. Never used it. Not once. To begin with, I didn't really end up carrying my water bottle out on the safari with me a whole lot. They had water available for us on the drives. The guides all brought water with them, and my camera didn't really fit in this front pocket. So that ended up being, this is definitely something I did not need to pack, and I don't know if I will actually ever use it. I might use it here at home to carry water places, but I don't know. We'll see. If I end up using it, I'll let you guys know in a future video. But for now, I don't think this is worth buying. I did get a hat as a souvenir. I found that I had wished that I had brought a hat with me. I mean, it gave me an opportunity to buy a hat. When we were on the afternoon safaris, the sun would be coming down at such a slant. Even with sunglasses in, the sun was coming into your eyes, and it was really, I was having to hold my hand up a lot, and there really wasn't any, it was hard to see, and you're constantly scanning the area for animals. So I did end up on the second safari, in our second location for safaris, I did end up buying a hat to be able to wear in the afternoons, and I was very glad I had this for the remaining 5 game drives that we had. So I would highly recommend bringing a hat, whether it's a sun protection hat or a baseball hat or something that's going to protect you from that sun coming in the afternoon, no matter what time of year you're going to Africa. Another thing that I brought was my little Epica fan. On the 2 little flights that we took back and forth between Victoria Falls and Johannesburg, there were times we were on that plane sitting waiting for takeoff, and it was really, really stuffy, and having the fan was really helpful. Also on the bus, driving for the longer drives that we had a couple of travel day drives that were longer than normal, and having the fan to help keep me cool and keep my motion sickness at bay was really nice. And this one is very handy. I like that it doesn't have the blades, so I don't have to worry about my hair getting in the way. I can kind of like just hold it up, and it's got a little lanyard so I can hold it, and I can wear it if I want to. But for the most part, I would just set it on the table and let it blow on me. Adapters. I took 2. I only really ended up using 1, and I used the Epica Pulse adapter. I was a little nervous because Africa, when you look up what type of adapters you need for Africa, it has all these random different plug versions that are different than the EU or the UK or US, Australia. Luckily, what we ran into is most of our accommodations either already had US, Australia style plugs to be able to plug into, or they had the EU plug to be able to plug into. So I never had a problem using this adapter at any of the accommodations that we stayed in. And we stayed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different accommodations, maybe 6. We stayed in 6 different accommodations, and not one of them did I ever have a problem using just this regular adapter that has the different, I think it's available. It says for 200 countries. I don't think they guarantee for Africa, but I didn't have any problems using this in Africa. And I love this particular adapter because it has all of the different USB ports, so I can plug a lot of stuff in here, including my computer. So that was ideal. I did take, let's see if I can get this out. I did end up taking a, oh my God, what the hell is a tripod? Oh, I had a menopause brain moment there. I did end up taking a tripod with me. I used it maybe 2 times. I thought I was going to take it out on the safari drives, but there was really you're constantly moving in the safari, and if there's an animal close by, you are not allowed to get out of the Jeep. So there was no like getting up and setting up your tripod and then looking at animals. You were staying in the Jeep because they need to be able to move pretty quickly if it becomes necessary. So I probably wouldn't take the tripod again. That just took up some space that was unnecessary. Now let's see. Oh, I have my luggage scale. That's pretty self-explanatory. I always take that. I have my curling wand that I took. By now, you guys are extremely tired of hearing me talk about my curling wand, but I did take it with two sections. I did use this quite often, actually. I will tell you, the low humidity areas up in Pilanesberg and actually in the Zimbabwe area was very low humidity, like I want to say 40% humidity. Oh man, did my hair look good in that low humidity. It was so nice to not wake up with like frizzies coming out of my hair. I mean, that was one of the main, everything else felt extremely dry and people were getting bloody noses, but my hair looked good. And in this cute little case, this pretty turquoise case, this is my portable printer, which I never used. We thought we were going to do some journaling, and I had brought some extra printer paper for the ladies to be able, well, the ladies and the one gentleman. We were going to do some journaling and print out pictures, and we had this whole big plan, and we were so busy the entire time, we never got an opportunity to do this. But I do think that I will continue to take the printer with me on future trips because I would like to start doing some daily journaling on trips that maybe aren't at such a fast pace. Let's see, I have one of the pairs of shoes that I took were these Taos high top sneakers, super comfortable. I am going to be doing a sneaker review in the future, so you might want to hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you want to hear more about these. I will say these were great for safari days. They're super comfortable, they're high topped, they didn't get super dusty, which was wonderful. And they've got a little zipper on the side, so they're really easy to get in and out of. You don't have to untie them to get in and out of them every time. But I will talk about these more in that sneaker review, but fantastic shoes. And let's see, yeah, my other pair of shoes. Oh, I took a headlamp just in case. It's just one of those things that I try to throw in on every trip. Never needed it, but you never know. I wasn't sure. And my other pair of shoes that I packed were my Placa sandals. And I did actually end up wearing these a few times, especially when we got down to Cape Town and it was a little nicer, a little more cosmopolitan. And we're going to get into that when we talk about some of the regrets that I had. But I did use these quite often, or for a few days, and they're always comfortable. Love these things. I did use all of my Epica packing cubes, which worked fantastic. Loved having them. This is the new scarf that I got. It's by the same company that did the hummingbird scarf that I talked about for the Portugal trip. And this is the same brand company, and I just wanted to get something that was more muted colors that would work for Africa and go with the pieces that I was bringing. Very glad I had that. Wore it quite often. This is something else I was very happy to have. Those chilly mornings, I was very, very glad I had brought. I threw this in at the last moment. I really didn't think about it until the very end, and I threw this in, and I wore this almost every morning on those game drives because it was it was chilly. It was nice to have something to keep my head warm. And having a little set pair of gloves was also very helpful. They did give us hot water bottles and they had blankets for us. So we were pretty cozy, but you kind of want to bring your hands out and take pictures and stuff. So having gloves, especially a pair of gloves that have the fingers where you can actually use your phone, super helpful. I also brought this little, my headband ear cover. I didn't wear this at all. I don't know. Every time I put this on, I just don't like the way it looks or feels. So I'm not sure. I wear them every once in a while to walk in here at home in the wintertime, but I don't know. I haven't found that I really like these very much. Almost everything in these are dirty, and I just kind of threw them in. So they're going to be sort of wrinkled. So don't judge the clothing by what they look like, because they got, kind of just balled up and thrown into the compression packing cubes to bring them home. But this gives you an idea, and I'll hopefully have some B-roll of me wearing these different items so you can see what they really look like and they don't look too bad. There's a lot of underwear in here. There's a few, this also has some souvenirs in here, so I'm gonna just kind of pull things out that I think you need to see. So this gauze, long sleeve gauze shirt from Quince, that I wore quite often. It was nice to have as a layering piece because I did bring some tank tops, and I would wear this over the tank tops. Very, very nice, super comfortable. Underwear, socks, you don't need to see, more underwear, souvenirs. Okay, another sock. I brought 4 pairs of socks, like thin ankle socks, and that was plenty. That worked well. I brought one of my OGL, did I bring 1 or 2? I don't know, we'll see down the road. I have at least 1. Pretty sure I only brought 1 tank top that has the built-in bra. Super comfortable. Actually wore this quite often. Probably, I don't know, every 3rd or 4th day I wore that. I got this shirt from Carve. That was like my kind of fancy shirt that I brought to be dressy. And I did wear this a couple of times for dinners out. Really liked how this fit. It's a little, I ended up getting a large. I think my other Carve shirt is, oh no, this is an extra large. I think my other Carve shirt is actually a medium. This is fairly large on me, but it worked out well. I mean, I'd wear it because I'd wear it with leggings and then my jeans. And it's a nice oversized shirt, super comfortable. Again, love the light layers. So I wore this our last night in Cape Town. We went out for a dinner where we had an African drumming experience. So it was very cool, very fun, very, I wouldn't say cheesy, but, kind of along those lines. Cape Town was way more cosmopolitan than I just thought it would be. For whatever reason, I wish when I finished showing you everything I packed, the one thing that I really wish that I had packed was either a nicer pair of pants or a dress or each, like my Duluth Trading Company pants, my black pants. I would have liked to have had those because they're a little dressier, and I could have worn them with the black sandals and this shirt and felt a little dressier than wearing jeans. I ended up wearing this with jeans and the sandals, and it looked fine, but it was a little more casual than I would have liked because other people were a little more dressed up. Or having a dress to actually walk around or go get dinners while we were in Cape Town would have been nice. Those are the 2 things that I regret that I did not bring, is a little bit of another dressier option for Cape Town, or 2 dressier options for Cape Town. Loved Cape Town. Absolutely not at all what I was expecting. Okay, let's see what is in. Oh, this is my puffy jacket. So it doesn't come, like this one isn't like my packable puffy from Quince, has its own, you pack it into the pocket. This does not do that. So I just packed it into one of the compression packing cubes. You could pack it down even smaller than this if you wanted to. I wore this almost every morning on the game drives. Definitely loved having this available. I would put this over one of my thin merino wool shirts, and this was a perfect layer because by the time we got back at 9 a.m., the temperature was up to maybe 60, so still a comfortable temperature to be wearing the puffy jacket. Definitely a must-have when you go out on those safari drives. I mean, look at the weather of where you're going, because if you're going to Kenya or Uganda or I don't know, Mozambique or some other countries in Africa, I mean, your temperatures may be very different. But for us, for those morning drives, it was chilly. And it was very nice to have a puffy jacket and to have a puffy jacket that packed down smaller. Okay, in here we have, this was, well, this is inside out. This is a little cashmere blend sweater. I wore this more for dinners out, and it was a very comfortable and, you know, just a nice regular shirt to have. Now we get into our merino wool. So I had this merino wool, this Unbound merino tank that I wore a lot. Like this was something I wore in the afternoon safaris. I wore this quite often. And I apologize, they are wrinkled because they, you know, they're dirty. I haven't washed them yet. I'm doing an unpacking video. So this is real life, people. I haven't made everything pretty for you before I unpacked the suitcase. So I wore this one, like I said, quite often in the afternoon. This was kind of my morning shirt, was this long sleeve V-neck. And I love the V-neck on these Unbound merino shirts because they're like the perfect, they're not like a short little V-neck that is barely really even any V there. I like that it's actually got a nice deep V, so it's very flattering, especially for those of us with broader shoulders who like, I mean, I love a V-neck. Y'all know how much I love a V-neck. And they do a V-neck very, very well, both on their tank tops and on their long sleeve shirts. This was perfect for the morning game drives. Like I said, wore these multiple days in a row, and nope, they actually smell. I could probably, if I ironed them or hung them up in the shower and let the wrinkles fall out of them, I wouldn't mind wearing these for like another few days. They smell great. And they basically smell like my deodorant. So they smell really, really good. They don't smell sweaty or stinky at all. And they're relatively clean. I didn't spill anything on myself. That's always a good sign. The other interesting piece of clothing that I got from Unbound Merino that I wore quite often are these merino wool travel pants. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. They're like a khaki pant, so obviously very neutral. I was able to dress these up and wear them very casually. I wore these, gosh, a lot. I almost had them washed, but I was a little nervous to have somebody in Africa wash the merino wool pants because I wasn't sure if they would do it right. So these have not been washed. They did stretch out a bit as the time went on, as I wore them more and more often, but they were still super comfortable. They do not have much stretch to them. So what size you get, you need to make sure is actually a real size. It's like buying a pair of jeans, but a pair of jeans back in the old days when, you know, you didn't have stretch in the jeans. It's like buying a real pair of pants made of material that doesn't have like a ton of elastane in it. Did not get dirty. They're not smelly. If I needed to wear them again, I mean, I would obviously could iron them or hang them up. If I were planning on wearing these multiple times, like when I was traveling, I made sure that they were all folded up nice and neat so they weren't getting wrinkled. I just basically threw everything in here and smushed it all up, and it's been sitting in my suitcase now for 4 days before I did this video. So there are a lot of wrinkles. This is probably the shirt that I wore the most from Unbound Merino. This little short sleeve V-neck was the perfect shirt for all occasions. This is the shirt that I packed in my personal item bag. That was part of my extra clothing that I had brought. In fact, this and these pants, I believe, were the two things that I had packed as my extra outfit. So they got worn a lot, especially this first few days. These were worn multiple times, and I absolutely love this shirt. I had this shirt actually laundered in Africa. I probably didn't even need to, but I was feeling because I had worn it so many times that I should probably get it washed. And it held up quite nicely. And I wasn't sure about this color when I first ordered it, but I really, really liked it. It's a great neutral, but still it's got color to it without being bland. And then this shirt was another one I brought, and I didn't wear it as often as I wore the rest of the shirts. This is an Unbound Merino, like lightweight, super lightweight hoodie. I think this is going to be fabulous around here in the fall because we have those days where, wearing layers like this, wearing this over a tank top will be the perfect type of item to wear. It's really cute. It's really cute on. It's got a short waist to it, but it's not really a crop top. I just really liked the way it fit, and it goes over the tank tops. Perfect layering piece. I just did not end up wearing it as much because I had so many other pieces of clothing. So this is something that I probably could have left at home because I didn't really end up needing it, but I wanted to try all of the Unbound Merino pieces out on the trip. And I like the color too, that slate color. It's a really pretty fabric, super thin. I think you're gonna see this out. If you follow me over on Instagram, I'll probably be wearing this out on the beach when we get to go drive out on the beach later in the fall. Let's move to the other side of the suitcase. Shoo. Yeah, a lot of laundry to do. Over here on this side, we have, I think this is pajamas. Yep, this is one of my pajama sets. I brought my bamboo shorty pajama set from Quince as one of my pajama sets, and I think the other pajama set, well, it might be in here somewhere. The other one is a long pants, short sleeve pajama set that I brought that I think I got at Walmart. So I did bring this purse that I got from Quince. It does have a strap, and I just packed it in there. I ended up using this quite often in Cape Town. I wore this when we went out and about and did some exploring in Cape Town. This was a great purse for that. Crossbodied, very cute, looked great with all of the outfits that I had brought. This is all the journaling stuff that I brought with us. Again, that I thought we were going to use, and then we did not end up using. I brought some washi tape, extra journals. We had some glue sticks. Alex put together these journal prompts for everybody. Again, we thought we were going to have a little more time, and we just did not. I have my hot and flashy travel brush set that I use all the time now. Worked great. I mean, yes, I did put on a little bit of makeup for the safaris because you never knew, those animals might like to see you looking your best. I have my two toiletry little things. This is one that I had in my personal item bag. I just did not put it in there coming back. This is not what I had in the personal item bag in this bag going. It was kind of a mishmash, and I've moved stuff around throughout the trip. We were traveling and moving. It was a 14-day trip, and like I said, we stayed at 6 different places. So there was a lot of packing and unpacking and packing going on. So things got moved around quite a bit. You've seen my toiletry packing videos, and if you haven't, I'll have them linked below for you. So I'm not going to go over what's actually in my toiletry kit today. That is, if you want to watch that video, I go over everything that I pack or don't pack, and it's got a lot of detail in there. So I'm not going to go into that this time. Oh, the one thing I will talk about, we talked about the malaria pills earlier. So I do want to give a shout out to Runway Health. I think that's the name of it, is like Runway. They were the people that I ended up getting my malaria pills from. Because I live in a small area, we don't really have a real good resource for travel meds, and getting a prescription for malaria was going to be kind of a pain in the butt. Runway Meds is a company that is set up, they're actually out of Florida, and they are set up, you can go online and you fill out a questionnaire. They ask you all the important information that they need to know before they can prescribe you a medication, and then they will actually send you the malaria pills. It wasn't inexpensive. It just gave me peace of mind that I could get them and get it done, and I was kind of short on time by the time I got around to figuring whether I was going to take malaria pills or not, because I did debate back and forth whether I was even going to do it, and I finally decided I should be safe rather than sorry. So both Alex and I ended up getting our malaria pills through Runway Health, and a shout out to them because they were excellent, great customer service. If you need travel drugs in the future, you might want to check them out, and I'll have them linked below as well. We did not end up continuing to take our malaria pills because, like I said, there really was very little areas that we were in that malaria was an issue, or that there were even mosquitoes around to bite us to give us malaria. I already said, disclaimer, do your own research. because where you're going, you might very well need those malaria pills. I did take a packable rain jacket. We never saw one lick of rain. It had been rainy in Cape Town like the week or so before we got there, so I might have needed it in Cape Town. It just ended up that while we were there, we had amazing, amazing, beautiful, clear weather. So I never needed my packable rain jacket, but I'm still glad that I packed it, because that's just one of those things that I feel like when you pack the rain jacket, it gives you a 75% stronger chance that you won't have rain. In my own head. Another thing that I packed that I never ended up using that I would have liked to have used, there were definitely potentially opportunities that would have been fantastic to use this, but we just ran out of time, or we were too tired in the afternoon to go do that. And that is my bathing suit and a cover up. So I took both my little red bikini and a cover up. We had some gorgeous pools at a couple of the resorts that we stayed at, but we were out doing stuff all day. So even the period of time that we would have in between our morning safari drive and our afternoon safari drive, we were either taking naps or I was working and just did not have time to lay by the pool. So I'm still glad I took it, because I might have had time to lay by the pool. I don't regret packing it. Let's just put it that way. It's not something that I feel like took up unnecessary space. Now, if I were trying to pack in a carry-on only, I may take my bathing suit, but eliminate the extra, cover up there. But, it is what it is. I like always having a bathing suit with me, because you never know when you might get an opportunity to use it. And then, let's see. This is another little sweatshirt that I took that was also, again, everything is inside out, so sorry about that. This little sweatshirt I got off of Amazon last year, I think. I really like the weight of it. I like the way where it hits on my hips. I think it's a nice length of sweatshirt, and it's kind of got a soft feel. It looks a little nicer than a regular sweatshirt, but it's also lighter weight than like a super thick regular sweatshirt. And this I used a few mornings when it was a little warmer and I didn't need my puffy jacket. This worked out really well. So this is a little t-shirt that they made specifically for our tour. So it shows like all the animals on there, and then the back of it shows all the places that we went on our tour. So really, really cute. It may be a little big for me. We'll see when I wash it. Maybe it'll shrink a little bit. It's rare that I actually buy t-shirts, but because this one was specific to our tour, I decided to go ahead and get it. Plus, the funds that they make off of the t-shirt sales actually go back into the community to help girls go to school. So, anytime you can do something to help that, it's very nice. This is one of the tote bags that I made for our group. Yeah. So it was fun to have these. It was nice to have a little extra bag. I used mine for the bus rides. I would put everything that I needed for the bus ride or during the day trips that we were taking, I put in my tote bag and carried with me on the bus. And a lot of people use these as their extra bag when they're coming home to pack, to have their second bag on the plane. So they would put like all their dirty clothes in here and then pack their souvenirs in their checked bag. So they had a little bit extra space. And our last bag in here, let's see, I think this is going to be pants. The rest of my pants anyway. Yes. So I had, there's a few other things in here. So I had these pants that were just a pair of, lightweight cargo pants that I got from Amazon. These were super comfy. I wore these a few days. I probably wore my merino wool pants a lot more than I wore these, but these were really comfy too. These I wore on in the afternoon sometimes when it was a little warmer, because these were a little lighter weight. This is another souvenir top that I got in Cape Town. Just a pretty little Cape Town t-shirt. And these are my jeans. They were actually a last minute addition to my packing, and I am very glad I had these. I ended up wearing these in Cape Town quite a bit, as I've talked about before. It's a little more cosmopolitan than I had anticipated, so and a little cooler, so I was very glad I had the jeans along. Here is the other pair of pajamas that I was talking about. These are a pair I've had forever that I got at Walmart quite a few years ago, and they're super comfy. I just brought the 2 pair of pajamas, and really that was all I needed. Overall, I think I packed pretty well for this trip. But if you want to avoid making some common packing mistakes, you should watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you have safe and wonderful travels.